How are y'all doing? Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States, helping you secure your legal status. So, welcome to the show. If you're a first timer, if you're returning, welcome back. You know this. You're welcome to ask any questions. Let's keep it to immigration questions, okay? I know sometimes people want to talk about politics. I'm here to point you in the right direction. Even if you have an attorney, now you gotta know this is not legal advice. Disclaimer here. As an attorney, I have to tell you this is information purposes only or for entertainment purposes. But if you want legal advice specifically, you do need to speak to a licensed attorney one on one. Okay. So if you want to speak with our team, our attorneys, there is a link down below or wherever it pops up on your platform. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. There are so many social media platforms, and I guess that's a good thing because we don't know what's going to happen on this particular one right here. So, although there's a lot of chatter about it, of course, if you have any inside knowledge on what's going to happen with TikTok, please let me know. All right. So, um, there's no specific topic for this session right now, but I can tell you what I normally go through are the long list of problems. Of course, every live show I'm not able to cover all of them, but the main one that typically affects almost every case is that there has been some kind of delay in processing of the case. And the thing is that because y'all don't do this every day, you're only filing your own case, you're only tracking your own situation, or maybe you heard about someone else and maybe theirs was faster. If you have no knowledge, that's okay. Because the thing is, like, I know there's Reddit out there, you can Google, excuse me, Google search and whatnot, but sometimes that's the information is outdated. And generally speaking, it's a different situation. Every case is different. Okay. Could be a different scenario, especially if you have a case abroad or the immigrant beneficiary is outside the United States. Though those like wait times changes is different based on country to country, embassy to embassy, consulate to consulate. Okay, so welcome to the channel. All right, so you're welcome to ask your post, type up your question in the comment section down below, or even share your own experience. We welcome that here at Green Card Guys TV. It's been a minute since I've been on YouTube and Facebook. I don't know why. TikTok seems bit more of a community here in the sense that easier to share information with each other. So if you are interested, although I do have some hope, a glimmer of hope for Meta and YouTube. But if you want to join live on TikTok, I believe you could click on multi-guest down there. Then for Facebook and YouTube, I'll share a link in the comment section. Okay. And so I have a meeting in about 20 minutes. Okay. I got to stay on track. My assistant's really good at keeping me on track. So I got a meeting at 12:30. So let me answer some questions. That's why I'm here. Okay. I'm going to try my best to go in order. Dr. Yusuf, do I know what's going on with MVC? Kind of. I know there's a backlog. They're trying to get through the backlog. But generally speaking, for cases that are at NVC and it's stuck there, we only file a lawsuit when it's related to NVC when you've been documentarily qualified at the very least. Okay, you have to be documentarily qualified or complete, and you would know this because when NVC does email you, essentially stating that, in that same email they'll say like you're in queue for interview. But please don't get confused. In queue doesn't mean the interview is going to be scheduled like next week. It's not going to be scheduled next month. Generally speaking, across the board, I would expect at least 6 months. If you get it sooner, come back to the channel. Let us know. We wish you all the best in that, but we have no control. The only thing you can control on that is uploading the documents they need so that you can be documentarily complete. Okay. And I'll record videos about the NVC and how many cases they've gone through recently and how many still waiting. So stay tuned for that. So it's a great time for me to share with you. Before I forget, go ahead, subscribe, and click the follow button on your respective channel. Hey, Howard Law, what's going on? Let me wave at y'all. Good afternoon. Can a DUI, so I'm answering, I think, Mitch EAL on Instagram. Can a DUI that was dismissed due to court supervision affect a VAWA that's been pending for 4 years? So, I mean, in general, any kind of criminal history, even if it was dismissed, the first question that we ask as a team is, what do you mean by dismissed? Was it straight dismissed, meaning there was no plea bargain, there was no contest, like straight dismissal, not on your record, essentially. But if you mean that dismissed after probation, because like you said, court supervision, we want to check that. But one DUI does not affect for ability to get residency, but it is an issue if you were detained by ICE, Immigration Custom Enforcement, because if you're trying to get bond, there's a recent case law the last few years. Judges, it's more difficult to get bond when you have a DWI or DUI. Okay, so honestly, this day and age, I know it already happened for you, allegedly. So, but if you're gonna go out to the bar, your college buddies ask you, your coworkers ask you, hey, let's go to happy hour, 5 p.m. Like, oh, it's early, no big deal. Let me go for 30 minutes. And sure enough, 5 drinks later, even if your car is there, please, for the love of God, just order Uber or Lyft, your local taxi, get back to your local community in that way. It's just not worth it. Okay. Totally not worth it, aside from the immigration consequences. Okay. Jay on YouTube, good morning to you. With adjustment of status, how can payments be made for Form 485 and work permit? You can submit a G 1450. I get that confused with the 1145 because I'm not the one filling those out anymore, fortunately. But one of those is the credit card. I think the credit card form is the 1450. Okay, G 1450. So you do it that way, or you can pay by check. But I mean, if you can do some kind of like old school paper check, I recommend cashier's check. Um, you could do check, but I mean, hopefully no one takes your checking account information. But if you can do paper check, that's possible too. At least so you can see that the funds have been withdrawn, right? Where cashier check, you wouldn't necessarily see that, but it would protect your own account information in that sense. But credit card is the best way. If you got to pick, I would pick credit card. Okay. Hey, good morning, Lenny. Lenny, it's been a while since I've been Instagram. Did you get your situation taken care of? Carlos, do I think Trump will end authorization for asylum? You mean like EAD? I'm not sure. I don't know if he can. That'd be interesting. I suspect if he would try to get rid of that, it would have to be through regulation. I don't think he could just say that he wants to get rid of it in that sense or end it. Batty on YouTube, what will happen after receipt notice? Marriage green card. Okay, so after you get the receipt notice, then about 1 to 2 months later, you will receive a biometrics notice. Now, biometrics meaning you have to go to a subcontracted office to just provide your fingerprints. Okay, they're gonna check your criminal history essentially. If you don't have any, that's okay. Good, that's great. But you still have to give your fingerprints. Now, if you had applied for something else recently, generally in the last couple of years, because of the pandemic, they realized like, look, if we already have their fingerprints from the last 18 months, they're typically not going to ask for it again. It seems, at least the last couple of years, it's that workflow has been working for them. I think that happened recently to one of our clients in the past couple of weeks. So they got a notice saying that USCIS will reuse the biometrics. Thank you so much for your questions. Appreciate it. Thank you for your trust. Again, I'd like to invite you to click the follow button, tap the screen on TikTok, or click the thumbs up if you appreciate how I share answers. I believe I'm a straight shooter. I don't gatekeep here. I'm trying to point you all in the right direction, okay? By the way, if you, I've been expanding my network of knowing other attorneys across the country. So even if it's immigration, you're like, John, I love you guys at the green card guys, but I prefer a lawyer in person, like face to face, mano a mano. Okay, did I say that right? It's all good. I'm happy to refer. Okay, I know a lot of immigration attorneys. I know a lot of attorneys just in general. So happy to point in the right direction because I know the amount of time y'all spend on reading restaurant reviews. You should probably do the same, at least reading reviews for attorneys. But if there's any way I could save you some time to at least know which attorney to possibly read the reviews, happy to do that. Okay, just DM us or email us. Mary, your spouse is employed through a staffing agency in Iowa, but the job site is in Austin. Which address do you use? Um, for employer's address, generally, if we're a staffing company, I would just use the headquarters. But I can see your concern. If his job, like the subcontracted place that he's at, is consistent, where it doesn't necessarily change like every week or every 2 months, and I did that before I think during college, I worked for staffing companies, so I'm familiar with that actually. If it changes pretty frequently, then I would just put the headquarters office, even if it's outside where y'all live. And that's fine to reveal because, I mean, I would think as a USCIS officer that it should be common knowledge that a staffing company, you're going to be moving from spot to spot. So, and then fortunately for you, I'm safely assuming that your residential address would be the same as your spouse. Thanks for the questions. And thanks, Mary, for joining anytime I go live. Let's see. Hey, we're at 556 likes on hearts on TikTok. If you don't mind, on your lunch break, just keep tapping the screen there. Appreciate it. Lenny, that's right. You filed your own. Currently studying to become an immigration lawyer. There you go. Okay, happy to help if you need it in the future. I mean, I can't really help for the what do you call the entrance exam. I mean, I have a couple tips on that, but the LSAT, uh, but the actual bar exam, man, that's you gotta take a course for that. But that'll be later on for you. This is a little too early for that, of course. Mitch EAL, your DUI was dismissed after you completed court supervision last year. Okay, well, I mean that's good. But if you hire an attorney or consult with an attorney, definitely share those documents with them so they can advise you more properly. Okay. Of course, I'm just providing general guidance right now, which is not legal advice. Okay. All right. So what do I have? 15 more minutes. All right. So Jay on YouTube. You were detained by ICE and was released on bond. And case was dismissed without prejudice. Okay, that's good. Will this case be a yes for the question, have you been arrested or detained? Yeah, you still got to answer yes on that one. But I think there could be a line or the last page on the application is like an addendum. You provide more information on that. So you can write in there, Jay, that, whatever date you were detained and which location that was. And then also mention that your court case was dismissed and give them the location of that and the date of the order of dismissal. In that sense, give them as much information as possible. And also include a copy of your dismissal order from the court. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. See, these are situations where most attorneys will gatekeep. They wouldn't give you that little step by step. Look, we're happy to help you. Okay. Now, look, do I walk you through every step? No, I can't do that. This is meant to be quick Q&A. But if I can point you in the right direction, I'm happy to do that. Which, by the way, if you don't mind hitting us up with a review, greatly appreciate it. Okay. So it's one of our old websites, reviewtinglaw.com. Thank you so much. All right. So we do have someone as joining as a guest. UA5555. You're on. What's up?
Hello.
How can I help you?
Hi, how are you? My name is Aziz.
Aziz, welcome.
Thank you. I'm not calling, like, I want to ask you about my case.
Sure.
I have 130 and 485,
Okay.
and it's been more than 2 years.
2 years. Which location?
New York,
Okay. Brooklyn or?
Brooklyn.
All right, let me check it out online here real quick for you.
My lawyer says you can go to congressman and expedite.
Yeah, I mean, you could try. It's free. You could try. It doesn't cost you anything. But
But my lawyer said nobody case takes more than 1 year. So
yeah, I mean, it's what we normally do is just file a lawsuit. Since yours, you said yours is 2 years. But let me check Brooklyn right now.
my
17.5
work
months.
authorization is finishing like 2 years already.
Okay. Oh, it's about to expire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could reapply, renew the EAD, but I mean, really what you want is to get the residency.
Yeah.
So yeah, schedule a meeting, click option number 1 in my link in my bio.
Okay.
And select the option for services mandamus lawsuit. And so my team can share more information about that. We have, of course, I have recorded videos to share more information. But yeah, I mean, you could try submit inquiry with congressman, maybe your local elected official. I don't think it's AOC. I think AOC is in the Bronx area, possibly. But submit that, and their office will get back to you by email. I think usually 30 days. But usually the response by email is like your case is still processing or your case is still under review. Okay.
I called them like 3 times.
Did they answer?
For USCIS.
Oh,
The
okay.
first one, they say 2029 deadline. And the second time when I called them, they say 2027.
It's ridiculous. So that's what I mean. Like, you may have looked at this USCIS processing webpage here, and when you put in your receipt date, what was your receipt date? Do you remember?
December 2nd, 2023.
Okay, I'm gonna click on get inquiry date, and of course it says your case is processing normally. The earliest you can submit questions is September 3rd, 2026. It's January 2025, y'all. So like Aziz, you're not the only one. That's why I go live. I try to go live every day to share these scenarios. There is an option for you. It's free to submit, call your congressperson's office and just see. But I mean, it's not intended to help much to get your decision. That's what I'm trying to say.
If I come to you, can you help with this case?
We can. So even though I'm in Texas, I have certifications in some courts, not in New York, but I work with what we call local attorneys that help with this in a timely manner.
Okay, I'm gonna fill out the form from online.
Yeah, pick option number 1 because that only costs this amount for y'all on social media. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, social media, surprisingly, is one of the best ways to get a hold of me. If you have a question, of course, my team, when you're a client, my team is the go-to, right? But I'm focusing, of course, I do supervise cases, of course. I do respond to inquiries, y'all's inquiries, of course, but the go-to is my premier associates, of course, since, it's just like anything in life, right? We can't do it all. Let's see. Okay, shoot, I got 7 minutes. Man, let me see if I can answer all these questions in 7 minutes. All right, thank you so much for your trust. Nestor Calderon got approved I-130 at NVC. And how do you move or notify NVC? Oh, we're doing AOS now. Take a look at the 824 form, okay, Nestor, on YouTube. 824, and just check if your situation, you need to file that. I can't remember right now. Let me share that with you right here. Here's the instructions for that. Because if you selected the wrong one, well, first of all, make sure you're eligible for AOS. Maybe you recently entered legally and your spouse is a citizen, then yeah, you can AOS, generally speaking. Okay. Of course, this is just information purposes only. Speak to a lawyer 101 just to make sure. Bujo, if I pronounce that correctly. What about T visa? So yeah, T visa, if I could make it as summarize as quickly as possible, is not just a person who has been smuggled into the United States, like crossing the border. It's not just like for like what do you call that? To to have sex. Okay, it's is that allowed on social media to say that? It's I'm sure it is. It also includes if you've been working for a company, and let's say they've been paying you, but you're like all of a sudden you're looking at your pay stubs and or however they pay, you're like, I'm supposed to get paid hourly, and if I get paid hourly and I've been working overtime, then you got to get paid overtime. As far I'm not an employment lawyer, as far as I understand, you get time and a half if you're an hourly employee. Okay. So you have to understand your what do you call like your work agreement, your employment agreement, essentially. There are laws to protect you in that sense, employment wise, to get your wages and also for immigration visa. Okay. That's called T visa. The other scenario, again, if I can summarize, is if you've been working for a company, no specific length of time, but and even if it's a long time ago, you don't have to be working for them right now. And those poor working conditions. Okay, so you do need to have some kind of proof, of course, even if it's a long time ago. Hey, Anatoly, good to see you. Thanks for the 5-star review, and I'm very happy for you. My team shared the review that you submitted for us, even though it was a long time ago. I'm very happy for you. Good to see you. Lenny, you have a quick question. What do I think your mom could fix her residency if she had a court case, but the court case got closed? So if you mean closed like removal order, it is going to be difficult, and especially with Trump joining office soon, taking an oath on January 20th, it likely would be very, very difficult. And when it's difficult times like that, when they're more restrictive in that sense, there's very limited reasons where they can reopen it. Okay. And one of them is if she didn't know about the court hearing to begin with. Now they're supposed to mail the notice of hearing, but if they mailed it to the wrong address and your mom did update the address to the court system, like in person, for example, I believe now it can be done online, but back in the day, everything was on paper. So if she did all that and they still mailed it to the wrong address, then that's a possibility, for example. Or maybe if she had an attorney before and that attorney said, "Oh yeah, you don't have to go to court," maybe that could work. Okay. So you know how to get in contact with us, Lenny. Appreciate it. By the way, Lenny, you got to put on your calendar when you're going to take that test. Because I've known many people that said they're going to want to become a lawyer or whatever it is, like go to medical school or whatever school, and then they just kind of delay and delay. So if that is your goal, put it on the calendar. I'm always happy to promote people going to law school. It's just like it's just like any job. Any job can be difficult. There's no, I mean, I don't think there's a easy job. Life is tough. She doesn't have it anymore, Lenny? Okay, well, that's good. We're happy to take a look if you want us to verify. By the way, Anatoly, if you're still on, let me know how Hawaii is. Jeffrey, your boyfriend is on O1 visa and your green card holder. Can you petition him if you marry him? How long? Yes, you can. Yes, you can actually. And it will take a couple years though, because of the visa bulletin F2A category. But and if your boyfriend is still or future husband is still on O1 or any other non-immigrant visa, then he can adjust status in America. But if it's overstay and you're still a green card holder by the time the prior date shows up a visa bulletin, then he's gonna have to file a waiver. So yeah, there's a couple scenarios for you in the future. Jacob, how long does it take to approve 45 after work permit approval? There's no specific timing. It's more about timing from the receipt date, which 12 to 15 months. That's what I would expect with the upcoming administration to go back the traditional way. Expect them to schedule interviews. I expect them to schedule interviews. I do not expect them to waive the adjustment of status interviews anymore with the new president coming in, whatever that guy's name is. Okay, so got 2 minutes. Mohammed on YouTube, can you apply for H-1B visa or J-1 if you're still waiting on immigrant visa? Yeah, you can have multiple pathways as long as you're eligible, of course. Look, USCIS loves your money, okay? They love your money because you fund them. Y'all fund the salaries of the employees of USCIS. Believe it or not, as far as I know, Congress does not fund USCIS, but you do. So, in fact, I mean, generally speaking, you can apply for anything you want as long as you're eligible, okay? Because Mohammed, if you mean immigrant visa in the sense that, like, especially if it's a family preference and you're waiting a hell of a long time for the prior date on the visa bulletin, then absolutely, we usually suggest L visa if you would consider starting a business, of course, or if you've been working for another company abroad, and then that company has a branch or is the parent company in America. There's a lot of possibilities. I recorded a video, and I know that's on TikTok at least. All I remember is I was wearing a red shirt. So take a look at that one if you're interested in the legal loophole. Okay. Most people have not thought about that because H-1B, as some of y'all know, is the registration window that the company has to register you for the potential sponsor. That's in the first 2 weeks of March. Only one time a year. Okay, folks? Pretty ridiculous. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I have to go to a meeting and I cannot be late. So I will see y'all on the next one. I'll try to go live at noon every day. Take care. Tap the screen and follow. Thank you. Follow for the future notifications.